Going into the 2024 calendar year, if you're an Indian cricket fan, you'd actually be excited, especially if you're a test match fan, because India will be playing a lot of test matches in the upcoming cycle. In fact, for the WTC cycle, the next one, you're going to be seeing a lot of test match cricket being played. You've got the South Africa series coming up, you've got 5 home tests against England, then of course you will be going to Australia for the Border Gavaskar series. So plenty of exciting test match cricket. There's just one rather obvious thing that has been missing from all of these test matches, whether they be home test matches or away test matches. There's not one single pink ball test or a day-night test that has in fact been scheduled by the BCCI, whether it be at home or whether it be away. There is no pink ball test whatsoever. It does stick out a bit, especially when you consider that other nations do tend to try and incorporate a pink ball test here or there. But generally speaking, India have been pretty reluctant to go down the route of the day-night test, despite the fact that for all of India's cricket craziness, test match figures, at least attendance in terms of the people who come to the stadium, do tend to be a little bit on the lower side. So why exactly is there this reluctance to hold a pink ball test, and does it actually stand up when analyzed in terms of putting a little bit of logic and seeing or delving deeper into what is the logic that is given to ensure that there are no pink ball tests? Well, that's what we'll do in this particular video. But if in order to analyze let's say the logic, we have to look at what exactly was said by the BCCI secretary Jai Shah. Now, Jai Shah was recently speaking on the sidelines of the Women's Premier League auction. You remember, it was a big interesting event. It was covered in Sports Today, and he did end up saying a lot of things regarding Indian cricket and what it is that they're looking to do in the future. Pink ball test was also something he touched upon, but let's put it this way, the comments that he made were not at all that positive. This is what he had to say. He said that the pink ball tests which have been played previously have ended in about 2-3 days. Everyone wants to watch tests lasting 4 or 5 days. Once they get more used to it, we will do more pink ball tests. Now, 3 sentences here which he said, all of which we can analyze on its own merit. The pink ball test ended in 2-3 days. Fair enough. That is actually true, as we'll show you some data later in this video which shows you that it's correct. Everyone wants to watch tests lasting 4-5 days. Again, fair. You do want exciting test match cricket which goes the distance, maybe to the 4th day or the 5th day, not necessarily the last session, maybe the 1st or 2nd session. You want value for money, and value for money in test matches means the game going right down to the wire. Once they, as in they being fans, get more used to it, we will do more pink ball tests. Again, considering the fact that cricket usually does follow a very capitalist model of let's give the fans what it is they want, it makes sense that they would in fact be wanting to try out pink ball tests only once they know for sure that there is some appetite to it. But again, does a lot of this hold up to a little bit deeper analysis? Well, the first part of that, we have some data, and as I mentioned before, it does actually hold up to a little bit of scrutiny. These are the 4 test matches that the Indian male or the Indian men's cricket team have played that have been the day-night variant. And if you look at the length of all of them, they didn't really last all that long. The first ever pink ball test that India played was against Bangladesh in 2019. That lasted about 3 days and only saw India bat once. Again, in 2020, that was of course the very famous series win that India had, where of course it was capped off with that very famous win at Gabba, Brisbane. That one, it started off with a 36 all out, and that also only lasted 3 days. India versus England in 2021, the second ever test to be held in a day-night variant in India, lasted 2 days. In fact, 2 days is also me being polite. It was actually a day and a half and ended, well, we'll get to the reasons later on. And after that, India played only one more pink ball test before pretty much doing away with it in 2023. That was against Sri Lanka in 2022, and that one only also lasted 3 days. So, in one way, Jai Shah is right. The matches are only lasting about 2 to 3 days, and nobody wants to watch test matches that are, let's say, that short in nature. But again, if you look at each and every one of these matches with a little bit of context, you'll realize that there are mitigating circumstances as to why it is these test matches didn't last. And truth be told, the pink ball or the nature of day-night tests had very little to do with it. Against Bangladesh, you were playing at the Eden Gardens, although it didn't matter where it is you were playing, you would have steamrolled Bangladesh anyway. That was going to be true whether you were playing with a pink ball, red ball, white ball, black ball, it doesn't matter. you will be playing against Bangladesh in the longest format and you will be beating them. That is pretty much how it goes, especially in home conditions. India-Australia 2020 again was not really a case of the pink ball not living up to expectations, but India not batting well enough to avoid that rather embarrassing collapse of 36 all out. You could put a bit of a mitigated circumstance and say that, maybe if they had gotten out like that in the twilight time, which is generally seen as the time when the pink ball darts around the most, but India didn't even make it to twilight. It was still getting dark, and in fact there was a fair bit of light, but they were just bundled out because they were unable to deal with disciplined bowling, particularly from the likes of a Josh Hazlewood. 2021, pink ball again, and to use an analogy I used for India-Bangladesh, you could have been playing with a pink ball, red ball, white ball, purple ball, it really doesn't matter. 2021 was played at Ahmedabad and you had the absolute worst spin track served up to England. In fact, it was so bad that the test match finished in a day and a half, and the top wicket takers for both sides, there was Akshar Patel, and for England it was Joe Root. So again, when the pitch is that bad that a finger spinner can generate degrees of turn that would be pretty much unheard of, it's not a good pitch for test cricket. And again, India-Sri Lanka in 2022, are Sri Lanka really credible test match opposition anymore in this day and age? I don't think that's the case. So India beating them in 3 days came as literally no surprise whatsoever. So it's rather than question, let's say, the logic of having pink ball tests, because again they only last 2-3 days and the action isn't very good. Maybe look a little deeper, retool it, play it against stronger sides. Or maybe they don't want to play it against stronger sides. Maybe that 36 all out is something that still lingers deep in the memory of those who are making the decisions, that they don't want another embarrassment like that, because it wouldn't be a good look for Indian cricket. So you're not having that many pink ball tests, because again there seems to be no eagerness whatsoever, and I don't buy the logic of these are matches that will only last for 2-3 days and fans won't be happy with that. If you were going by that logic, then India would not be serving up absolute landmine tracks to the likes of Australia and ensuring that pretty much every test was done in 2-3 days. Again, if you think that the public doesn't want 2-3 day tests, why then are you serving up pitches that will ensure a result gets done in double quick time? Why do you want to be producing tracks that spin so much that not even the Indian batsmen are able to cope with them? So I don't buy this logic if it's only lasting 2-3 days. If that were the case, then India wouldn't be making rank turners for the opposition. You'd be in fact looking to make more competitive pitches and let the Indian team win or lose on their merit. The same logic should apply ideally to pink ball tests, because again, pink ball test, it could be an interesting thing if it's marketed properly and it becomes something of a tradition. ANH necessarily has the patience to watch all 5 days of a test match, especially considering that it all takes place in the daytime. So it can be a little tough to follow, and in that sense a pink ball test could be something that furthers the lifespan of the game. But again, if this is going to be the attitude by one of the, if not the richest cricket board in the world, then I don't really see it as being a good thing. Personally, I'm a fan of pink ball tests, and I do think that they need to be played more often, particularly in India. Maybe you'd need to change the nature of the pitch, but that's okay. You want test cricket to survive and thrive, and that will not happen if India win terrible matches on terrible pitches. You want good cricketing contests. That's the best way to keep test cricket alive, and that extends even to pink ball cricket. But what are your thoughts on the entire matter? Do you think that there should be efforts to revive this as far as the Indian context goes? Would you like to see more pink ball cricket? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTak app, and if you're already on the channel, well, then you can go right ahead and check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side though, it's goodbye.